Senzo Meyiwa murder trial will resume in the High Court in Pretoria today. The trial within a trial was brought to an abrupt halt in November of last year after the lawyer for two of the accused, Advocate Thulani Mngomezulu, fell ill. Now, this led to the matter being postponed for almost 2 months. 5 men are on trial for the murder of the former Bafana captain. Lead investigator Thulani Mngomezulu is expected back on the stand. The case, which started afresh last July, has heard evidence from numerous witnesses, including those in the house at the time of the shooting. Several other witnesses also testified in the trial within a trial, where the court is hearing arguments on whether or not accused 1 and 2 in the case made confessions freely and voluntarily. This year will mark 10 years since Meyiwa was killed. Let's take you now to our reporter Linda Mnisi, who's covering this case as it resumes. Linda, a very good morning to you. We know that confessions will take centre stage this morning as the trial within a trial resumes. What's to be expected?
Indeed, Paul, the trial within a trial continues this morning here at the Pretoria High Court. But you also remember that this matter was not postponed due to, the illness of Advocate Mngomezulu. It was in part due to his ill health, but also because the matter had reached its final day for the court sittings that had been allocated for last year. So we went, of course, on that long adjournment, and it resumes this morning. And before we went on this long break, you'll remember that the state had called the lead investigator in this particular case, Brigadier Bongani Gininda, who is the head of the National Cold Case Unit for the SAPS, and who, of course, led the investigations after this matter was allocated to his department. So he continues, of course, to detail, evidence around how the accused were arrested in this matter, but also the issue around the confessions that the state alleges that Bongani Ntanzi as well as Muzika Kulelo Sibia, that's now accused 1 and 2, made these confessions freely and voluntarily and without any undue influences. Touched on a number of issues, including how they were arrested and also what happened and the circumstances that led to those confessions being made. So far we've heard evidence, of course, around accused number 2, Bongani Ntanzi's lawyer. You'll remember that the court previously heard how he was legally represented when he made his second confession before Magistrate Vivian Cronje in Boksburg. This is an allegation that Bongani Ntanzi continues to deny, saying that he was not represented, but he's detailed the circumstances around how this this attorney, Ntokozo Mjiako, came to be present at that particular confession, saying that the first time that he had met him was at a police station, and then later on learning that Bongani Ntanzi had made this confession before this Ntokozo Mjiako, who was his lawyer at the time. He's also gone on to detail how Ntokozo Mjiako represented Bongani Ntanzi on several other court appearances where he'd been charged or where he was appearing on different matters. So stating, according to the state, that Ntokozo Mjiako was in fact the lawyer that was representing Bongani Ntanzi. So he continues with his evidence this morning, and it's what is expected to be the height of the state's case, really, when you look at the number of witnesses in court that they've called so far. This is the lead investigator, and all the people that report under him, or report to him rather, have since been called. So we're expecting him this morning to continue with that line of evidence, and the expectation thereafter is that the state will rest its case, at least where the trial within a trial is concerned.
As you speak about this very matter, having mentioned one of the accused, Muzi Sibia, we know that he has now received a 10-year sentence in a separate matter, but still, of course, being under the spotlight within this Meyiwa case.
Absolutely, Paul. You'll remember this is a separate matter that involved a dealing in drugs case as well as the possession of unlicensed ammunition. It also takes us back to some of the testimony that we've heard in this court from the officers who arrested him, saying that when they arrested him in Tembisa, they actually also took him to his place where they discovered this unlicensed ammunition. You'll remember the officers detailing how they had to go to Phosphorus in an attempt to try and recover the firearms. So he was subsequently charged on that matter, and of course now being sentenced to that 10-year sentence that you mentioned right now. It's important, Paul, because of course this speaks to the kind of investigations that went on in this matter, and because when they were arrested, they were not arrested for the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. They were actually arrested for separate cases. So this does, in fact, have a bearing on this case, given the fact that he's now been convicted of course, those charges that he was facing. So we'll hear at the end of the trial, within a trial, what this particular court makes of that ruling, because that evidence linking that particular charge falls within what this case is still hearing at the moment. So at the end of this trial, within a trial, when the judge rules on the merits of this case, we'll hear exactly what he makes of this particular judgment and sentence, and how it then influences the evidence of the state.
Well, Linda Mnisi, let's leave it there for now. Of course, keeping a very close eye as proceedings in that court case will get underway this morning. Linda Mnisi giving us a sense of what to expect as the matter resumes.